And Judd, every single Tuesday, we do a little segment we like to call Who Gets It and Who Doesn't around the Minnesota sports landscape and beyond. And I think we should throw it to Declan Goff here to lead us off with this one.
Let's start with a guy who does get it, and that guy is Kevin Garnett.
Oh, boy.
And it's a little bit of a combined one here. I think Kevin Garnett gets it, and I sure hope Marc Lore and Alex Rodriguez get it as well. KG went on Jimmy Kimmel earlier this week, and Kimmel noticed that he was obviously getting his number retired by the Celtics and was curious on, well, why aren't you getting your number retired in Minnesota?
But what amazes me is that, you are quite clearly far and away the greatest Minnesota Timberwolves player of all time. There's no question about it. How is it possible that the Celtics have seen fit to retire your jersey, but the Minnesota Timberwolves still have not?
Well, if you know anything about the Boston Celtics, they're known for their championships and the way they do things.
Uh-huh.
They do things in a championship way.
I see.
And that's what I'm going to say. Because I love the city of Minneapolis, and I'm not here to crap on anything, and someone has a franchise, and the way they want to run their franchise is up to them.
Right. They have new owners, though, right?
I don't know. I haven't been really keeping up with them.
You haven't?
I keep up with Cat. I keep up with the young fella Edwards, but no.
Okay, wow. Real quick, I love that he keeps up with Cat and Anthony Edwards.
Me too.
I will say that. The fact that he's sort of stealth in their DMs or whatever that means, I'm here for that.
I think three things pop off to me there. Number one, KG still loathes Glenn Taylor. That's not breaking news, but he still rightfully so despises Glenn Taylor. My second takeaway is A-Rod and Marc Lore. Have you not even extended an offer or reached out to KG? And I know KG's not the easiest person to deal with, but for a team right now that needs all the good PR you can get and not alienating your fan base even more, bringing Kevin Garnett back in some capacity, whether it's honoring him, retiring his jersey, this is fixable. And continuing to ignore it, I think, is a humongous slap in the face to a fan base that loves basketball in this town and loves Kevin Garnett. And I do love that he still keeps up with Cat and Ant. I actually even wonder, with him keeping up with Anthony Edwards, if that does help bridge some type of gap. Because there's a lot of KG in Ant Edwards.
There's no gap to be bridged until Glenn Taylor is out completely. There's just and notice in that clip how he said someone owns a franchise. He said someone owns a franchise and they can run it however they want to. He won't even say Glenn Taylor's name. But he's not talking about Marc Lore and A-Rod, and he knows that those guys are bought in, but they're not going to be because Glenn Taylor wants a 2.5-year runway. Or I guess if you want to believe that Marc Lore and Alex Rodriguez combined don't have enough money, they make it sound like, oh, those guys are short on funds. I think those guys could probably find a way. Marc Lore has sold companies to Amazon and Walmart and is building a city of the future that's going to be multiple billions of dollars in budget to build. It's called, is it Tolosa?
Something like that, yeah.
The Tolosa Timberwolves. No, it's not bad.
So I can guarantee you there is no bridge for KG to cross. He doesn't want to until Glenn Taylor is completely gone from the organization. But it makes me, I take that clip and think, oh, I'm glad that he's in touch with Anthony Edwards. That makes me smile inside.
So, but that clip encapsulates the entire problem of this transfer process, which is Glenn Taylor is the what 10,000-pound gorilla who isn't going to go away until he's finally gone. Like that's my problem. Is I want these guys to step in and transition in and be more involved. And so Glenn is, okay, Glenn, bye, go home now. Oh, you know what? You don't have to come to tonight's game, right? And the problem is that it's really clear from what KG's saying, and he's probably not wrong, is that, this is still Glenn's baby. This is still, it's my team. It's good. And this is what, Phil, 2 more years of this?
Yes.
That's the problem. That's the problem. The quicker that Glenn could be well, if you need something, call me. I'm in the book. Mankato, but instead it's going to be this it's going to be this slow transition about, well, you really don't own the team yet, and that is going to keep the Timberwolves being the Timberwolves for far too long.
And there's also a lot of people that will partially correctly point out, hey, KG's a pain in the ass too. He's cantankerous. He's not his public-facing persona is not always what it is behind the scenes. He holds grudges beyond the point where most normal people hold grudges. And those things are all true. I don't know KG personally, but, like, we all know enough people that have been around him personally that, like, yeah, there's some things behind the scenes that are tough to deal with. I don't put this on KG at all, though. Glenn Taylor has been one of the 3 to 4 worst owners in professional sports for the last 25 years. And he has done nothing to me to earn any sort of benefit of the doubt. And really, like, if you boil it down, as an owner of a franchise, what are the big picture things that you need to focus on? Hiring the right people to lead it, which he's whiffed on time after time, and maintaining great relationships with the most prominent figures in the organization's history. We can rag on the Twins for their current state of things and how in God's name they're like back in a rebuild after where they were 2 years ago as the best power-hitting offense in baseball history. But they do a lot of things right as an organization in terms of, you know, they're pretty steady from a front office standpoint. If you know, they're not championship caliber, but
their alumni loves them.
The alumni loves them. They're
That's
constantly
the
Rod Carews,
the
right?
alumni thing's so easy.
Yes.
Reach out to those people, bring them all back,
Make them feel
welcome.
important.
I mean, Glenn Taylor's actively has alienated not once but twice the best player in franchise history, and it's not close. And we are talking about, and KG is a pain. I'm willing to bet Kobe was a pain because they're super competitive and smart dudes. But we're talking about retiring his number. Like this is not.
But he doesn't want it. They've offered that. He doesn't want it.
No, I know, but that's how bad that he feels the relationship is, and he's probably not wrong. My point is, the repair here is to get him in the building to retire his number. It's not like, please come back and be president of basketball ops or something like that. It's this very simple thing. And Glenn can't even accomplish that because he created so much ill will. That's the problem.
Also, you know, the Vikings, again, we're hard on the Vikings because, guys, it's time to win a championship. Let's not be settling for 8-9 wins and being happy. So there's things to pick on with the Vikings too. But again, they do such a great job with alumni and Ring of Honor. And even, like, take Randy Moss, for example. Randy Moss had 2 different falling outs with the Minnesota Vikings. The first one where they had to trade him. And then the second one, he comes in for 3 weeks, burns it all down, you know, gives double middle fingers to the coaching staff and the entire organization, and then goes on his way. And Randy Moss comes back for Monday Night Football, comes back for Ring of Honor, like retired jersey, whatever all the ceremonies are. I love Minnesota, love me the Vikings. He's rooting for the Vikings on national TV every time they do picks. Dude had 2 falling outs with the franchise, and he's back because they know how to deal with the most important players in their franchise. Glenn does not.
And if Glenn had an employee who he assigned to go kiss KG's feet and say, we are sorry, we screwed up. You know, all we want is to put 21 in the rafters. We are sorry. And you did that for 6 months. KG is probably going to break and be like, oh, okay, I'll come back. He doesn't do that. Like, this is a 2-sided feud, and it's completely, in my opinion, incumbent on one person, and that's Glenn, the person that owns the team, to fix it. It's not on KG. And look, the Twins and Vikes both had at one time, I wouldn't say acrimonious, but not great relationships with past greats. Harmon Killebrew and the Twins, but guess what the Twins did? They went and worked their butts off to be like, Harmon, we are sorry. We need you. Carew, same thing. So, like, this is all on Glenn to solve. Totally on Glenn.
Nick Punto just had a major falling out with the Twins. They brought him back for a softball event.
The son of a buck was always sliding into first base. But anyway, this is on Glenn, and that's what's frustrating because he won't go away from the team and just go home and watch the games on his TCL TV.
Wow, look at you. Always a pitch man.
And drink his surly in his chill boys while on Olivia Plan.
Moderation, folks. That's the key to life. All right.
Moderation.
I'll give you another Wolves-related one here of who gets it. Marc Lore and Alex Rodriguez, but this is more Marc Lore focused.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw the story yesterday, but the Timberwolves were fined $250,000 for violating league rules that prohibit teams from arranging or paying for off-season practice or group workout sessions for their players outside of a team's home market. So you can't take your team and travel down to wherever, Miami in this case, and have a big the Timberwolves did a big kumbaya session and brought everyone to Alex Rodriguez's house, and Marc Lore was there. And why does and you might say, well, that's awfully stupid. you're violating league rules and getting fined $250,000. And I say, when you've got $250,000 to wipe your behind with, if it's worth it for the team building, you should spare no expense. And so I love that Marc Lore's cutting these corners, being edgy, saying, I don't care, let's bring everyone down, we'll drink some champagne, talk life, and bond together. Here, NBA, here, Adam Silver, here's $250,000. Here's the other thing. I say that sort of tongue-in-cheek, but Marc Lore has been traveling to every road game the first 3 weeks of the season here.
Yep.
So I had a chance. I was just kind of curious, like, what is his impact with this franchise, and what has he been up to the first few weeks of the season here? And so I did some sleuthing, and so not only is he traveling with the team, and like, you know, he's posting on Instagram last night. It was a hard fought, you know, close game, tough loss. Happy birthday, Karl Anthony Towns. He has hired Damian Lillard's personal basketball trainer, who also works with like 15 or 20 other NBA guys. And he's traveling around the country. And like the other day, they literally got workout space at USC's practice facility so that A-Rod and Marc Lore could go through a 90-minute basketball workout. So he was like, he knew basically nothing about basketball when he bought the Timberwolves. And he has hired people around him to catch him up to speed on how to play basketball pop culture. He has people that are literally giving him like lists of basketball movies and documentaries to watch to catch him up to speed on, you know, the knowledge base you need to own an NBA franchise. He's asking questions about X's and O's to people that are trained in such things. So I love the fact that he has immersed himself all in with all the different projects he has going on. He's traveling with the team. He's learning how to play, which is amazing. He's learning basketball pop culture. And I just love it. I think Marc Lore ultimately is going to be a rock-solid owner of this franchise, but Glenn Taylor still looms for a couple more years.
The fact that you did not play the Bally Sports North bed below that was a shame.
No, I'm not. This is
That was a shame.
No.
Coming up next, Marc Lore.
Stop mocking my positivity.
Coming up next, Marc Lore shows us his basketball skills with a Z, as you kids like to say. So stay tuned.
With a Z. All right, no, it's fine. You can mock me. It's fine. Yeah, when Marc Lore and I are, hoisting a championship trophy here in about 5 years.
Marc Lore who was by him last? Oh, Fitzy, Larry Fitzgerald Jr. Because he owns a part of the Suns.
He does.
Courtside, man. He's bringing some star power. Marc Lore's bringing some star power to courtside. It's actually
I wonder who's
great.
advising him on like which Minnesota sort of celebrities to.
Somebody definitely
Eric
is.
Kendricks, Rachel Bannum,
Mackey and
Judd
Judd.
Zolgad,
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah. No, I'm sure he'll be inviting me soon. All right. So Dex and Phil both did Who Gets It. So I will start mine with Who Does Not. And this is hilariously funny. Did you guys see the story yesterday? For the 6th time, I believe, in their franchise history, we have a Packers stock sale. Yes, that's right. $300 now for the piece of paper. $300 to buy a piece of paper that gives you zero control, zero influence, zero anything. It's a piece of paper to frame. It is now $300, so the Packers can take your money and invest it where they want. I think it has to be in the team or stadium upgrades, but still,
it's certainly not on Odell Beckham Jr.
No, it's not,
Hey-o.
and it is the greatest scam in sports, as far as I'm concerned. There is no better scam.
It's
so
like
the Packers get it, but anybody who buys this godforsaken piece of paper and puts it on their wall for $300 doesn't get it.
Isn't it kind of amazing that there's an NFL what's the NFL worth now? Like $12 billion, $15 billion or something?
Idea. Yeah.
All these teams are worth multiple billions of dollars, and yet you still have and it's the most, I would say the English Premier League and the NFL are like, those are the two top dogs in the world in terms of sports leagues, right? And yet you've got one of these franchises that's literally run like a Patreon page or a Kickstarter account. Where it's like, hey, if you donate $300, you'll get nothing, but you can support our blog or our podcast, right? And I shouldn't mock it because, the three of us might be there in 6 months for all we know. But it is hilarious that, like, all right, here's a certificate, and you can have a star named after you, too. Bart Star. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. But I continue to ask one question in 2021. How is this still allowed? Like they claim.
Why don't they have an owner? Like, why can't someone just come in and buy the Packers?
I have no idea.
It's weird.
But what they say is because we don't have one deep pockets person, we need to have these sales to raise funds. And I say this is such a scam. It is such a scam. And the worst part is a team now can't be like, you know what we should do? We should sell our team and have people buy stock. And then we'll be just like the Packers and can do these stock sales.
But no other
you can't
teams
do
are
that
allowed
now.
to do that.
You're not
right?
allowed to do that now. So I mean, $300. Think
Okay,
about
but
that.
what's the bigger scam though? Is it Green Bay, which is asking diehard Packer fans to fund stadium upgrades and only diehard Packer fans?
Yep.
Or the Minnesota Vikings getting all of the public, whether they care about the Vikings or not, to pay $500 million for a new stadium?
Well, I think the brilliant scam is the Packers. Because like you could argue that
The Vikings pitched electronic pull tabs as a viable revenue source to get to $500 million for a new stadium.
I don't have a problem,
which it's not, by the way.
I don't have a problem with taxes being used to help things in your town, schools, stadiums, like things that make it better. My issue,
schools, stadiums.
Well, I'm not big on schools.
Same thing.
Schools and stadiums.
Education.
Yeah, well,
football
and cheap seats.
Which is why
education.
No, sports. No.
And the NFC North.
To be very clear, all sports, okay? All sports and then schools. Schools are like 15.
Coming up next, we'll tell you why the NFC North is key to your child's education.
What's more important, your kid's education or the Vikings-Packers game on Sunday? It's
15% tax and a pack of smoke,
Yeah.
so we can get this funded.
And we should have gambling. We should have sports. Sports gambling would pay for everything. But the Packers thing is such a ruse because it's $300 per person, and they'll get it for a piece of paper that they can then invest in their team.
Dude, remember this is like early Mackey and Judd, 1500 ESPN, 4-hour radio show, and we got into this discussion. It was like $250 at the time or something for a Packers ownership slip. And some guy called in, just classic cliche, like some guy from Milwaukee or something. You guys need to stop making fun of it. I've been a Packers owner for 25 years and this and this. And then like our bumper music was playing to end the show basically. And I asked him, all right, just Gary or Bob or whatever the guy's name was, just answer one question for me. So you're a Packers owner. Do you also have a star named after you? And he paused. He goes, yeah. Like, all right, dude. So you'll basically just pay like hundreds of dollars for anything with a certificate then.
Yes.
That's fine. I'm sure a lot of people listening also have stars named after them, and that's fine. I'm just saying, like, don't pretend like you don't like own the Packers. You get to go to like a bagel meeting once every 2 years or something, right? Like you don't
I think it's
actually
once in
get to
July,
talk
you
to
get
Aaron
to
Rodgers.
go to Lambeau Field and sit there. Wait. Do you think a lot of people have stars?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here,
You're kidding me.
My cousins have gotten them. Yeah, it's a thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Sorry
many
to
people have
derail
stars
things
named
there,
after them?
but that's incredible.
Stars
It's a thing.
named after people.
Can you prove that your star exists?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you get a
a
certificate and everything,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, you get a certificate, but can they prove that? But beyond that it's not just a ruse. And there's I can tell you, hey, I'm looking up in the sky right now, Dex. Cloudy,
Yeah, no,
but
you
I
literally
can see
get
something up there.
Yeah, you can prove the authenticity of it. Yeah.
So there is an article from theconversation.com 3 years ago that says, so it's even more of a scam. Oh, this sounds familiar. Stars for sale, but no, you can't really buy an official star name to remember someone. It's like symbolic, which is exactly what that $300 Packer
What's the price
ownership
of that,
certificate
Phil?
is.
Does it say what?
I think it was like $175 when we last checked it out.
Oh my
something
God,
like
that is. Oh, please, people, don't be investing in that. type
I
of
don't
crap.
really care if your zodiac sign is like a Libra or Sagittarius, whatever. Like if you're just a bad person, you're a bad person. That doesn't excuse like what quadrant of the zodiac sign you are either. Like I can't stand astrology.
Oh, that's the astrology stuff.
It just,
yeah.
it all
people
blows
are big
my
on
mind.
that, Dex.
It's all
Sorry,
done.
I'm a
Sorry.
I'm a Leo. Okay,
I'm a Leo.
Just my
Oh,
personality.
you're just a D.
I'm just a
Got it.
Taurus. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm an
got it.
isolationist.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, back to
Sounds
Declan.
good. That wasn't my who doesn't get it, shockingly. But
Who doesn't get it?
Get
That's
it?
a good one.
Astrology.
Cancers. Yeah.
Who doesn't get it? You know what? I'll go down this vein. We talked with Pat about it, but I'll say the Toronto Blue Jays for extending Jose Berrios. They do not get it. I like Jose.
Oh, the Blue Jays don't get it.
They don't get it.
Whoa, dude.
They don't get it. I like Jose. I think he's a very solid number 2 starter on a good team. And the Twins were wise to get 2 decent prospects in return for him. And a 7-year contract, about $18.7 million per. There's escalators that are going up in that apparently too, according to Jeff Passan and other baseball insiders. And he can opt out after year 5. But the Twins, like, best case scenario, right? They're going to be contenders in 2024. So 3 years from now, like, they'll be legitimate contenders. Hopefully, maybe they pop back up in the next year or two, but they probably won't be contending for any World Series aspirations for 3 years. Toronto gives him a humongous contract. I like Jose, but he has a lot of Lariano to him where he can become a mental midget and just kind of tends to freak out. And it's different sports as well, but like Kirk Cousins doesn't, in my opinion, do enough for his price tag to lift up his team. I look at Jose, even with baseball being in a different vein there, I know that I don't think it's worth giving him all that money. He's a nice starting pitcher, but I think the Twins were wise to punt, and Toronto is going to be on the hook for a good but not ace caliber pitcher, so I'll say Toronto doesn't get it.
And my comeback to that would be, okay, who pitches for the Twins next year? Because here's, and I don't know if I'm in love with a 7-year contract to a starting pitcher, so, how many 7-year contracts have worked out in, a team's favor, I guess. But here's the problem. If the Twins can't develop a strong core of pitchers internally, which is what was promised 5 years ago. Or not promised. Like, I hate using that word. They promised. I mean, that was Derek Falvey was hired to be a pitching development guru that was going to oversee a great pipeline of young arms, and that you could afford to let a Jose Berrios walk because you got another 1 or 5 on the way. I mean, they've literally developed 0 starting pitchers in 5 years. Like, am I missing someone? Because Berrios was sort of he had arrived pre. No, they helped him. Like, they helped mold him as a young pitcher. So I'm not going to take all credit away. But if you can't develop 4 or 5 guys from within, you got to go get someone from the outside, either via trade or via free agency. And it's like, all right, they basically have 4 open spots in their rotation, maybe 3 if you think Bailey Ober is going to be, like a number 4, number 5 starter. So I mean, you can let Berrios walk, but like, there's a reason why Vegas has you as like the 6th, least the 6th from the bottom in terms of World Series odds, because you don't have a pitching staff.
Oh, fire the music. Come on.
All right, go ahead.
Coming up next, we go home with Bailey Ober and find out why his parents love him so much. That's straight ahead on Bally Sports North. There, I feel cleansed. It's like a cleansing when I do that.
Oh, my God.
Coming next. Greatest games in Twins history. Here's the 5 innings Berrios threw in the playoffs against the Astros. We're not going to talk about what happened after that, but hey.
Yeah. Rocco won't take him out because we're going to cut the game off right where he came out to take him out.
They show you the first 5 innings of Berrios, and then they show the 10th inning of Jack Morris
yes.
back end.
Let's go to the post-game show.
All right, Judd, give us one more. Who gets it, who doesn't, before we get to random season recall?
Okay, I'm going to defend Declan's guy. Who gets it? Teddy Bridgewater was criticized by his own coach, and I know if you go back and watch the return by Darius Slay in the Eagles-Broncos game, that the Broncos got drilled in pretty badly on Sunday. Teddy made no attempt to tackle Slay, and he was right there, and he sort of allowed him to go by. And I almost thought, because he was so nonchalant about it, that he had been told, hey, dude, don't try and tackle guys, because he's been hurt clearly with the leg snapping and all that. Fangio criticized Teddy yesterday. Teddy apologized. But here's my thing, and I've said this about Kirk too. My rule of thumb for quarterbacks when things go awry: stop, drop, and roll. I don't want you trying to tackle guys, because is it worth it? That's my like. If nobody else on the field, if no other offensive player, the other 10 guys can tackle Slay, do I want Kirk Cousins, Teddy, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield hurt his non-throwing shoulder. I believe it was against the Texans, Dex, trying to make a tackle.
Yeah, but he showed his team that he's willing to sacrifice anything.
Congrats.
Right, but it's so stupid. These guys are your lifeblood. They are the key, the absolute fundamental key to your team. And you're telling me he should have tried to bring down Darius Slay because...
Well, Darius Slay's not like 500 pounds. I mean,
No, I don't want him involved, though, because if you stay up, the stop, drop, and roll is based on this. When a ball is loose or picked off, the quarterback is targeted. He is fair game. Anybody can target him. So if he goes after Slay, I can... And he stops him. If I can get on both of them and come down as hard on Teddy's shoulder as I possibly want, not trying to tackle a guy, if you're a quarterback, unless it's a playoff game, is the smartest thing. Stay healthy.
Yeah, unless your head coach's name is Vic Fangio,
Well,
in which case you need to lay on the tracks, dude. Lay on the tracks.
I thought he told him to because, like, he allowed the guy to go by, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then fans are like, oh, Teddy didn't want it. Teddy didn't. And I got a note last night, Twitter, well, if Cousins did the same thing, Judd, you'd be the first to criticize him.
That's true.
No, I wouldn't. That's
true.
That's BS. That's
Yeah,
BS.
right.
Drop to the ground. You are free to be
You would have
hit
coward.
at that point.
You
No, I
would've
wouldn't
called
have.
him a coward,
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't have. I said it last year. Get down. And get out of the play. So I'm defending Declan's guy here. I'm taking up the mantle, Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy's a coward.
It's the same people that look at 14 touchdowns
now.
in his tenure and just think he's a bust of a player, and he's a hell of a leader, and people root for him. This has happened before. Jay Cutler, this happened to Jay Cutler a few years back too when he was with the Bears. Tom Brady sat there with his hands on his hip the other day during a pick six. No one said crap, and I know it's the GOAT Tom Brady. It happens. Like, I don't
Tom
want
Brady's
my
also
quarterback
like
doing
50
that.
years old too.
But also
I feel
get
like
down.
his bones
Still.
will just like dissolve into dust if he tries to tackle
Hit
somebody.
the ground. Hit the ground. Get down.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Fetal position.
You guys
That's
can
what I
talk
want.
about Bridgewater being an amazing leader. I don't know if I could follow a guy that doesn't lay his body on the line in that situation. So
Terrible.
that's who gets it, who doesn't here on Mackey and Judd. Don't forget too, Vikings vent line. Well, I threw these numbers out on Twitter yesterday. Thank you guys, the audience. You helped. So Vikings vent line on Halloween night, that was the devastating loss to the Cowboys. So partial thanks to the Vikings for always just like pissing everyone off. But we had over 50,000 downloads and plays of Vikings vent line from Halloween night. It was the largest episode of Vikings vent line ever. So thank you all. I think it was like 55,000 or something. So appreciate all of you. Vikings vent line has just become the most fan-friendly and interactive show at Score North and probably in all of Minnesota sports. So right after this game is over, Vikings-Packers, either way, I think this is going to be hot.
Lit. Could be
This is
lit.
going to be hot.
Lit.
Just like the kids say.
There you
Could
go.
be
Just
lit.
like the kids and Judd say. So, all right, Judd, you've asked for it.
Yep.
Declan's got random season recall here, and I won't steal his thunder, but you've been asking for it.
Okay.
Judley, the 1983-84 Minnesota North Stars.
Oh, this is a good club.
Wow. All right. I was born in 1985.
Well,
and it'd be
but you
basically
studied North
zero.
Star.
I know Lou Nanny
Friend
and
of the show.
John Casey.
But you no.
Was he on that team?
No.
Okay.
You are.
Then
well,
I know Lou
Louis
Nanny was
GM.
the GM.
Louis was the GM. Louis
Louis.
was the GM.
Friend of the show.
I am
Friend of the
shocked
show.
that you have not studied North Star history.
So
All right,
I don't know. I
Judd
mean,
Lee.
I'm just going to probably sit here and chime in with one-liners or something because I can't.
Okay,
help
so
it at
Judd,
all.
the 83-84 North Stars did win the Norris that year.
Oh, they were good.
Yep.
That's a good club. Yeah.
How
That's
many
a great
points for that Norris winning Minnesota North Stars team in 83-84? I'll give you 5 on either side, too, by the way. I'll give you 5. Not going to ask for the exact number.
That was a really good era because those 2 years, for a couple years there, they got really good. I'm going to say they had 90 points.
90 points.
90 points.
That sounds great. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yep, Phil
Yep.
agreed.
Yep.
89. 89.
Yep,
89
okay.
points.
On the money.
89
Yep.
points.
Nice job. Great teamwork there. Yep.
Yep. Phil, I'll consult with you next.
Good job.
Because
Mackey
I know
and
that
Judd,
when we get in the
their show.
weeds, Mackie and
I'm just
Judd,
gonna
when
catch up on some texts here real quick. Just
Phil's
so you
like
know.
sending notes to people. Memo
And
to
I'm
self.
not. By the way, I'm not cheating. I'm texting here. Just so,
Memo to
Okay.
self.
Just saw.
Fire
an
Declan
interesting
post-show.
email that we can talk
Firing
about after
Ross
the show.
Brendel.
Yes.
Look for new partner.
All right, so Judd, the North Stars reached the Western Conference Finals that year.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the two teams they beat, though, to get there in the postseason?
Norris Division. That is back in the day, Phil. When you.
Yeah. Why did we
played
name the divisions like what? So we East
Hockey
West
Legends.
isn't good enough.
Hockey legends.
I like leaders and legends when the Big Ten
Conn
did it.
Smythe, Clarence Campbell, Bruce Norris, I believe it was, owned the Detroit Red
Sure.
Wings. There was the Smythe division. There was the Patrick and Adams
What would it be
division.
now? So
All
we would have the Gretzky. We would have the Lemieux.
Oh, this is good. Oh, I love this.
I like that idea.
That is the Howe.
The Howe
would
go
have
back.
one.
Yep, Gordie
The
Howe.
Orr, Bobby Orr.
I like it.
Yeah, maybe,
The Gretzky, for sure, no
and
question.
probably the Lemieux.
maybe the Hall.
The-
Maybe the Lemieux. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? It would be the Gretzky Conference. It wouldn't be a division.
Okay.
He'd get a conference. So here's my guess. Gretzky gets a conference. Gordie Howe gets a conference. Over to Howe.
Back to
Back-
Eiserman.
The Zucker.
Back to Andre Richard.
Back to Wah.
to Rocket Richard.
wide.
Over to Bobby Hole, who passes it to Brett Hole. Back to Bobby Hole.
Oh, God.
Gets it back to the point for Bobby Orr. He dances along the blue line. Okay, I'm sorry. What?
All right, back to the
I'm sorry.
random season recall. Who did they beat in the postseason that year?
Okay, it's the Norris division. So they played the Oilers in the conference finals, but they had to get through their division before that.
The Blues are the Blackhawks, right?
I think you're correct. I think Phil just jumped in and got it.
Is it the
The
Blues?
Blues and Blackhawks?
Yep.
They
Let's go
beat
with
both
that.
the Blues and wait, did they win 2 series?
Yeah.
No. The
Yes.
Blues and the Blackhawks?
They got to the conference final against the Oilers. So yes, they won 2
Blues
series.
and Blackhawks.
Yeah,
Final
let's
guess.
go Blackhawks Blues. Yes. Yes.
Hockey
Hockey
Wow.
Whisperer!
Wow.
Hockey
There he is. Wave the flag. Wave the flag. There it is. Wave it.
Oh, my God, amazing.
Unbelievable! Do you believe in miracles? You got 10 seconds. You got 9 seconds. 5. Do you believe in miracles, Whisperer?
Oh, the Whisperer. Just hanging out here. All right, the Whisperer is going to go back to checking some emails here.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, now fire Ross Brendel as well. I don't like what he's doing. Okay.
All right, Judley. Neil Broughton led the team in points that year.
Okay.
How many points for Broughton? I'll give, again, 5 on either side.
Oh.
He played in 76 regular season games, if that helps.
76 regular season games. They had 80 back then, so just 4. He missed 4. Yeah, and that's back when that is back at the time when scoring was pretty prolific as well. 93 points.
93 points. Final guess.
93 points. Final guess.
5 on either side.
Wow.
89 points.
Look at
89 points for Broughton. Sneaks in 28 goals, 61 assists for Broughton.
76 games. Yeah, that's good.
Broughton was also one of 5 players, Judd, to score 28 goals or more that season for that North Stars team.
Yep.
Who were the other 4 players?
Dino was one for sure. I'll guess Dino Ciccarelli.
That's one.
Dino Ciccarelli, man.
Great name.
Yeah, that's great.
There was young Brian Bellows on that team.
I'm Brian Bellows. Wait. It's the wrong SNL skit.
I'll guess Bellows. It's going to be.
Wow. Wow.
2 more. 2 more.
Oh, God. Hold on. So this is 83, 84. So we had. All right. So the top line was Broughton, Cicerelli, Tommy Mack, McCarthy. Bellows was on the second line. Okay, I'll go McCarthy because he's the third guy on that line. Tommy McCarthy.
Wow. One more.
Pretty impressive. This is pretty impressive. I feel like Judd has put his money where his mouth was here.
Yeah.
Complaining about the 2005 Wild challenges here and saying, give me some North Stars.
Well, we did crush that one once I got the year right for remembering what year we were talking about. We did crush that one, but yes, that 2005 one was ugly. All right, so there's a fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to
a left winger.
I'm going to guess Steve Payne. Final guess, Steve Payne.
That's a pretty good guess.
Steve Payne, Judd nailed it, dude.
Wow,
Judd.
Dude, look at that.
So Steve Payne in the second round against the Blues, okay? Game 7 at Met Center went to OT. And Steve Payne scored the winning goal against Mike Liute in OT. And Payne was a pretty prolific scorer, so that's why I guess Steve Payne.
Steve Payne, friend of the show.
Yes, he was a big fan.
Interesting.
Daily listener of the old Mackey and Judd show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Judd. Let's we'll dig deep on this one. Who led the team with 316 penalty minutes that season? Keep in mind, there was 4 players who racked up over 132 penalty minutes.
That's the old NHL, okay? That's the old NHL.
Beauty, yeah. There was I remember one time.
You guys want to fight?
Judd and I had, actually, Judd might have been out this day, but we had Chris Knuckles Nyland on the show.
I was out.
And so he was doing there was a documentary showing at St. Anthony, Maine about the career of Chris Knuckles Nyland. He was one of the great fighters of the 80s. This was like right in the wheelhouse of, he didn't play for the Wild or the North Stars, but
right.
If you're interested in 80s fighting culture in hockey, it's an amazing documentary.
He played for Montreal and Boston,
and San Jose at one point.
Yeah, and then he actually dated somebody or was
nice.
Had an acquaintance with a woman who was either Whitey Bulger's daughter or like niece, and he said Whitey called him in one day and basically said, "Don't screw this up." And
yeah, you got to be a tough guy if that's the company that you're.
Yeah, and Chris was like, "Okay, cool, thanks, dude, bye." So I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story here to set up my guess. The game I told you about. Game 7.
This is like when
finals.
Like when someone gets to the end of someone gets to the end of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they make you think like they don't know the $1 million answer, and they're like, "All right, I'm gonna phone a friend." Remember that one guy who said, "I'm gonna phone a friend"?
Yes, it was great.
And he gets his mom on the phone or whatever. His dad, he goes, "Dad, I'm about to win $1 million."
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. So, Game 7 division finals against the Blues. The North Stars in the third period of that game, it was relatively late. It felt like the game was tied, went down by a goal, and I was like, that was the game where I decided I was never going to invest myself again as much as I was at that time, because I was like freaking heartbroken. I'm like, they're going to lose. They're not going to get to the conference finals. And then the puck was picked up by a big guy who didn't wear a helmet for the majority of his career, and he crossed center ice and from neutral let go with a howitzer of a slap shot, and Willie Plett's shot beat Mike Liute fairly clean, tied the score to set up the OT that Payne scored the goal in. But Willie Plett, of course, was known far more as a fighter than as a scorer, probably. So I'm going to say Willie Plett.
Willie Plett, final answer.
Wow,
dude. This is insane. This is so
Plett,
impressive.
Baby. Willie Plett. Willie Plett.
Never question Judd Zulgad's 80s North Stars knowledge. Amazing.
I loved this team. This was
final
my
one.
team.
Final question, Judd. Who was the primary goalie tandem that year for those North Stars?
83. 83, 84. Don
One star-
Beaupre was one of them.
Okay, that's one.
And this was towards the end. But the other... Actually, hold on a second.
Oh my God, if he has his jersey or something.
The final answer is going to be the jersey of Gilly Millar.
He's got the jersey.
Signed. Show it big, Dex. Show it big. Show it full screen. It's signed. That's the real Millar
He's got the
signature
jersey.
from back then.
Oh my God, that is the greatest performance in the history of Random Season Recall.
Take that.
I don't know that the segment can continue.
It might. I think we have to retire it.
Judd just killed the segment. I don't know.
You didn't have a single wrong answer. There wasn't a single buzzer that entire segment.
Oh my God.
It's my team. I love this team. I have a signed jersey from one of the goaltenders.
Curtain call.
And wait.
Curtain call.
And a Don Beaupre hockey card. I've got the goaltender tandem right here.
Judd's gonna have showing now a tattoo under his vase
No,
here of just.
Oh, look at this Brian
North
Bellows
Stars logo.
tattoo
Look at
on
this
my
North
left
Stars
ass
logo
cheek.
right here.
Yeah.
Love Brian Bellows at the time.
I'm Brian Bellows. All right, for the 8 people that
19
get
years
that
old.
Yeah.
SNL reference.
I get
All right, well, after that, I don't know. I think
Wow,
that's
dude.
the end of the Mackey and Judd show. This will be our last ever episode because there's nothing else to talk about after Judd just did that. Actually, just kidding. Tomorrow's the day that we admit that we were wrong. Write that down, predictions. And
Yeah, we
accountability
won't be
session.
right. I won't be right tomorrow, folks. Don't worry about
Alex
that.
Boone later on the Tuesday edition of Purple Daily. All right, we're gonna go celebrate with Judd here. Some top shelf champagne.